dive in.
Hey, what's good? I'm Eleni and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about the mistakes that I have made while in relationships in the past and how I have learned from them. So if you're interested in this topic or you are in a relationship and just need some advice, I hope you can watch this video in its entirety so I can help you learn from the mistakes that I have made and hopefully you don't make them. So I have my matcha tea here, my matcha tea latte, so we're in for a story. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell for notifications. Once a relationship ends, I think it's a lot easier to see the red flags, and you know, if you had just paid a little bit more attention to those red flags, you could have removed yourself from that situation ahead of time so you wouldn't have to go through, you know, many tears and like horrible nights of no sleep. However, when we're in a relationship, I do think a lot of people can relate to this. You see everything through rose-colored glasses, so things that are actually not okay, you ignore and are almost blind to it. And I have made that mistake way too many times, and I'm hoping from here on out, moving forward into the new year, that I will no longer be making those mistakes, or I have learned to pay closer attention to things that are red flags for me and I am not okay with, and no one should accept being treated that way while in a relationship with their partner. I think something that I find to be the most humorous while being in a relationship with a man is that a man will cheat on you for the entire relationship and call you crazy when you have suspicions or you find blatantly obvious clues that there's another woman involved, or perhaps many other women, as in this particular situation, but they won't blame the relationship's demise on their infidelity. They will blame it on you as the girlfriend for acting crazy when you get upset when you find out that perhaps the person is not being faithful. And then what I find to be even more humorous is that after the relationship ends, they will say awful, horrible things about you that are just simply not true, or they take one little thing and blow it up and exaggerate it, and be telling everybody all these bad things about you, however still be texting you and hitting you up saying that how much they miss you and how much they love you, and you know, still just be trying to be involved in your life. You know, they'll be texting you how he never meant to do any of that and he never meant to hurt me, and that was just simply his way of handling the breakup. So I just find that to be pretty humorous. But I shouldn't be talking about the end of the relationship yet. Let's just jump to the beginning. So jumping to before we were in a relationship, there was a lot of red flags. However, we weren't in a relationship and I had no reason to be mad or get upset about any of these things because I was not his to claim and he was not mine. And before you're in a relationship, you can't complain what the other person does because you're just getting to know them still. And if that's the type of person they are, you know, you can decide if you want to be with them or not. So the way he had asked me to be his girlfriend was incredibly elaborate, which no one has ever asked me out in that elaborate of a way. And this would have been really sweet and thoughtful if he had not already known that I did not want to be in a relationship just yet, because I felt it was too soon. And I also choose not to just jump into relationships ever, because I feel like once you're in a relationship, everything changes. But so he had already known that I was most likely going to say no, since I already had said no on a previous occasion. So, of course, I said no. I did not want to be in a relationship with this person. And then I should have ran away. I should have run for the hills after this happened. I said no. I said I wanted to continue dating and getting to know each other. And this man had given me an ultimatum and a 24 24-hour deadline. I can't even say it, how ridiculous it is. He gave me an ultimatum and a 24-hour deadline to make my decision. And I was like, whoa. I mean, I had already thought it was too soon. It had been a few months before he asked me out. However, he was traveling for like a month out of the country. We had only spent probably a handful, well, I shouldn't say a handful. We had spent like quite a bit of time together, but within that time frame, he was gone for like a month or maybe a month and a half in Europe. So I felt like I really didn't know him that well. Like we were still getting to know each other. So basically, I should have run for the hills while I stupidly agreed to being in a relationship before that 24-hour deadline. It was like I felt like there was a lot of turmoil because I had 24 hours to make a decision whether I wanted to never speak to this person again or be in a relationship with them. And that's just a huge, I don't know, that's just huge. Jumping to 2 weeks into our relationship, possibly 3 at most likely 2, it was a very short time period, we had went away together. And while we were away together, there was one instance in particular that stands out to me as, wow, what was I thinking? So, we were out and about doing stuff and I was trying to talk to him and he is just on his phone blatantly ignoring me, and I'm asking him what's wrong, like, why are you ignoring me? I'm trying to have a conversation with you, but he just wouldn't. He was just on his phone texting. And that's okay, I'm on my phone too, but to blatantly ignore someone, it's kind of a little weird. But you know what, I was like, we all are different people. Maybe he's just, sometimes I get like fatigued from talking to someone for too much and I just need like, a couple minutes of like silence. So I figured maybe that was the case. So fast forward to like maybe an hour, 2 hours later, he's on his phone showing me the Uber that's going to be coming or how long it's going to take or that he ordered it. This was a while ago, so it was definitely something with an Uber. Not that that's even relevant, to be honest, but so while we're looking at his phone, he gets a Snapchat notification from his ex. And this particular ex, he had dated at the same time as me while we were getting to know each other. And he had told me that he dumped her and left her for me because he did not want to be with that type of person and that she was not the person for him. And apparently she was just like horrible person. I don't really know the whole story, but apparently that was the case because he left her to date me. I actually did not know about her existence until after we were in a relationship, but that's another story. So he apparently he left her for me, and he had alluded to me up until this point that he had not spoken to her since he stopped seeing her and stopped dating her. However, that was not the case. But so as you can imagine, I was very surprised when I seen this Snapchat message from this girl. So later I had asked him about it and questioned him, and he was like, oh no, I don't know what you're talking about. That wasn't from her. Like, I literally never talked to her. Oh yeah, that, rambling on about like nonsense because he got caught. And I was like, okay, well, if you're telling the truth, then why don't you show me? So he was now put in a tough spot because his lie was going to be revealed. So he shows me, and of course he got caught in his lie because I'm not dumb, unlike people like to think. But so this was not just a random Snapchat message. They were best friends on Snapchat with the heart and had a streak. So I was like, okay, kind of odd because we've been here already like a week together. So this whole time you've been talking to your ex while you're away with me, supposedly enjoying my company, which apparently wasn't enough. So this particular ex of his, I had later found out that he had actually cheated on me for, I would like to say, the entire relationship, but however, this was 2 weeks into our relationship, so maybe he didn't cheat on me for the entire relationship, he just cheated on me with her for months. And by the way, I got all of this information from yet another girl that he actually had cheated on me with. And this particular person was his best friend that he hooked up with before we were together and before we met, but then also hooked up with her while we were together and never told me about it. But that is something I will get to later in this video about that situation, because right now we are in the first 2 weeks of the relationship. Moving on. So moving on to 1 to 2 months after we had been together. I stupidly stayed with him after catching him lying to me within 2 weeks of being together. So now I'm on to month 1 or 2. So I just want to put it out there. If a man tells you after a month or 2 of being in a relationship that he loves you and you don't want to say it back because you find that to be too fast, you aren't at that point with them yet, you know, the relationship isn't even established or solid yet, you do not have to say you love them. If you don't love that person, why would you lie to that person? When he told me he loved me, I told him I don't love him. I mean, we were together for like 2 months at this point. You have to fall in love, and love is something that you grow. You don't just love a person. I mean, you know, when you're younger, you might say you love your boyfriend when you're like in a 13 or something. That's not real love. Like when you're an adult, you realize that love is something that grows. When you establish trust, you establish loyalty, you want to be with this person forever. That's when you love a person. Just because I didn't love this person doesn't mean that I have no empathy. Not saying you love a person because it is literally on maybe a month and a half, 2 months into your relationship. That's okay. You do not have to feel forced to tell your partner that you love them back just because they said it. And I think that is something that people should talk about more, and people should be okay with not telling someone that they love them back. But don't feel forced to say it back. I didn't feel forced to say it back, but as the time went on, it became clear that me not loving this person was used against me. And I don't really understand that. You can't be forced to loving someone, especially when they're cheating on you for months. Like, you don't have to love that person. That's just sad. All right, now we're on, I think, about month 3 of being in a relationship with this person. And this incident that I'm about to tell you guys about is probably my biggest regret for going back with this person. I got out, I left, I broke up with them, we were done, and I allowed myself to be manipulated and talked into getting back with this person. And I shouldn't have. This should have been the biggest red flag, and this should have been like the point where I should have recognized that like we were over. Like there was no going back after this. And I wish that we were done. Like I really do. But you know, I'm learning from my mistakes. So this is about 3 months into the relationship. I am not living with him. I am simply staying with him. Thank God I still had my own apartment. I still had my own place. All of my belongings were here. This is my apartment that I own, that I pay rent to, that I have lived in for a year and a half now. But this is my place. So I didn't move in with them. I wasn't living with them. I was staying with them. Honestly, call it a staycation, if you will. It was about a week and a half. Like, did not live there. Anyways, so we got into a huge blowout of a fight. I had basically caught him potentially or allegedly cheating on me yet again. And of course, so I say allegedly or potentially because every time I caught him or found evidence of cheating or behavior that you should not be doing while you're dating, he had gaslit me and manipulated me and basically slammed it into my head that he was, you know, that women's hair tie, those sunglasses, the dirty texts that girls are sending him to his phone talking about, you know, that they're horny and things like that, and them saying, oh, mommy, daddy, like those, he had slammed into my head where either one didn't happen, even though I seen him with my own eyes, or two, it was not what it looked like. So that's why I say potentially cheating, because this was another instance where caught him doing something that he should not be doing, in my opinion, was another instance of potential cheating. Huge blowout of a fight. This fight went on for honestly hours. We both did and said some things that I'm sure he regrets. I did and said some things that I regret. And basically the fight ended by me being scared. I locked myself in the bedroom and sat there for hours until the middle of the night when I could escape after he went to sleep in another bedroom. So yeah, I mean, pretty traumatic, honestly. So basically, I'll get to why I left in the middle of the night and snuck out and had to like tiptoe around, was because for way too many instances before this, way too many that I'm proud of, that I allowed this to go on. If we had gotten into a fight or had simply, you know, I wanted to leave because I had class at like 8 a.m. or something like that, I would get physically blocked from leaving the house. Like, you know, so this is like the process that I would go through every time. And essentially, if I wanted to leave, and he didn't steal my car keys yet, so I had my car keys, thankfully, and I would be barricaded from the front door. Like we'd do that the little dance where you can't leave, and they'd be like, no, so they're blocking the front door. Or they would, you know, hug me, and not like a nice hug, more like a gorilla grip hug, to the point where I couldn't, you know, I couldn't move, like I couldn't leave. Like, a large man is forcing me to stay, essentially. Not in like a squeezing, painful way, but in a, you're not going to be escaping his grip way. So if I managed to not get gorilla gripped, forced to stay, or bear hugged, if you will, and I also managed to get past the front door, then it was me trying to get into my car door. So he would run ahead of me and block my car door, so I couldn't open my car to get in it. And then if I managed to somehow like get around and open my car door, he would then stand inside of my car door, so I couldn't leave. Like, I couldn't close my car door, and he was a pretty big guy, so I didn't want to like rip my car door off by like driving off. And then if I was able to close my car door, he would like stand like by the car, so, you know, in front or in the back of the car, and I didn't want to have to like run this man over to get out of the driveway. And that was only if he didn't steal my keys. There was also instances where he would steal my keys and hide them, so like I would physically have no car to drive off in. And I lived like maybe like 6 miles away from this person, and there was no way I was gonna walk that. I mean, I could have, but I probably just should have, honestly. I should have just walked. But anyway, so that is the reason why I escaped in the middle of the house. I'm just explaining that to you as to why my thought process was I needed to hide and sneak out. So it's like 5 in the morning, and I am packing my bags, and like, I had a lot of bags. I mean, I was planning on staying there for a couple weeks, and so I had like multiple bags of clothes, I had my makeup, I brought even like my coffee pot, because I can't go, this is matcha latte, but I can't go without my coffee every day. And so I had a lot of stuff to pack. So essentially it's 5 a.m., I have all of the lights off, and I am tiptoeing around, packing all of my belongings into bags, and then tiptoeing to the door, hoping that the beep of the front door does not wake the man up. And then I put it in my car, and hoping me slamming my trunk and like car doors does not wake him up either. Honestly, like, I know when I'm telling this, it might not seem that scary, but I was so terrified. I was legitimately fearful. I didn't know what was gonna happen to me, and I didn't want to find out, if I woke him up, what he was going to do to me. Now, I would just like to be clear that I had never gotten physically hurt in this relationship. There was instances where I was scared, like, you know, he got in my face, or there, you know, he squeezed my wrist a little too tight or something like that, but never where I was like physically hurt, where I feared my life. But of course, this was a huge blowout, and I had honestly no idea what was gonna happen, especially just knowing that he never liked when I left the house. So there was no way he was going to be okay with me leaving the house that night. That was probably the biggest fight we ever had. So I was honestly terrified. And then to be made fun of, and to be made fun of for that experience, to be made fun of for having to leave in the middle of the night. I don't think any man or woman ever wants to have to leave in the middle of the night, but I did not feel safe, I did not feel comfortable, and I did not feel welcomed or wanted there anymore. And I didn't want, like, we broke up, like, we were done. I broke up with him. I was fed up. But to be made fun of that, and I know I was very scared, and that was really heartless of the person to make fun of me, and that's acting like my fears were like not valid. But like, I'm happy that it's over. I'm happy that nothing bad happened to me, and I'm very thankful for that. And you know, I don't know, but that's one of my biggest regrets, that I left them, and then I allowed myself to be like manipulated and tricked to getting back together with him, because I thought that he had said that things were going to be better from that foot forward. I just want to say and end that note with that if you have to leave someone and you're scared and you need to leave and sneak out, whether it be in the middle of the night or whether it be during the day, you are not crazy for leaving. And if that's what you need to do to feel safe, that's okay. That's why I came back here to my apartment, and thankfully I had a place to live. One of the women that he had cheated on me with actually had finally came forward and told me everything, and we actually had a very long and very nice phone call where she came clean to me about everything, and everything she knew that happened with other women as well as what they did together. And I don't hate her for this. I actually am very thankful and appreciative that she was the only person that told me this. Like, everybody else stayed silent, and she told me this, and I want to thank her for that, because up until this point, I knew in my heart that he was cheating on me, and I found the sexting with other girls, the women's hair ties, sunglasses, people were drinking my champagne and things like that, which he had claimed he drank all of it, but she had told me the truth, and I am very thankful for that, because up until then he had gaslit me so much to the point where I actually thought that I was crazy and wasn't sure if like what I was feeling and the things that I were finding were like valid pieces of evidence. This girl was his best friend, and we had met, and we didn't really hang out, we didn't like know each other that well, but we had met, and she knew of my existence and I knew of her, and he had always told me that she was just one of the bros. Like, he thought of her as a guy, there would never be anything there. They had hooked up in the past, but he had said that he didn't want that type of situation with her because he thought of her as more of a guy than a girl, and he wasn't attracted to her. And now we all know that's lies. Guys always hook up with their best friends. Like, we all know that. Yeah, that's no secret. So I mean, I knew that was a lie, but he would, it was kind of believable. So, it's basically what happened is we were in a relationship, and he had invited her over, and he knew that I had a problem with him having girls over for like late night movie nights or Netflix and chill, if you will. And also I had a problem with him taking other girls on dates. He says they aren't dates, but in my opinion, taking a girl out, a girl that you had slept with in the past, out for dinner and paying for it is a date, especially when you keep it hidden from your girlfriend. But even, so he had known that I had an issue with, and honestly, you guys can call me a crazy girlfriend if you will, but if you're in a relationship, you do not want your significant other Netflixing, chilling, and taking other women or men out on dates. That's weird. Like, that's really weird, especially when they have had a thing with them in the past. That's even weirder, but whatever at this point. It honestly makes me laugh. But so he had told his best friend that we were broken up. So he invited her over, and she went over there. So since he told her that we broke up, they hooked up. Because she says that she would never have done something like that if she knew that he was still in a relationship with me. And honestly, I believe her, because it's not cool. It's not cool. It does not make you look good if you are knowingly hooking up with a man who is married or in a relationship. That is not something, that is not cool. I mean, you have no respect for yourself if you do that, because what do you think's gonna happen? Like, you're the mistress and you're the side piece. Like, you're not the winner. It's honestly pathetic. So, word of advice, don't be the side piece. You will get nowhere. a man usually doesn't leave his wife or girlfriend for the side piece. That's why they're the side piece. So anyways, he hooked up with her after lying to her about us being broken up. So she, of course, found out that we didn't break up because we were still together, and it was very obvious that we were still together considering we were still doing things and hanging out and spending time together. So I guess she had told me that she got really pissed at him and had confronted him and said, "You told me you and Eleni broke up." And he goes, "Oh no, it's fine because I'm going to break up with her, like it's fine." And then she was like, "But you're not broken up." And we didn't break up at all. We didn't break up. So even if you were going to break up with me, that's still cheating. But he didn't break up with me even in the future. So I was like, okay. So I guess, so at the time we didn't follow each other on Instagram. So she DM'd me on Instagram that he cheated on me, and I didn't see it because it went to my message requests and I get tons of DMs. That's not even like flaunting it. It's just saying that I get too many DMs to the point where if someone DMs me, the chances that I'm going to see it are slim unless I'm looking through all of my DMs. And at that point I hadn't been because some stuff went down and I had just chosen not to look at my DMs because they were all horrible anyways. So she had DM'd me, and before I seen it, if I was ever going to see it, he had convinced her to, I don't know if he blackmailed her, I don't know what he did, but he had convinced her for her to unsend that DM so I would never find out. So she did. She deleted it, and I never found out for months. So then, of course, I found out this all later, but so that was that, and we never broke up. And that's disgusting. So also during this phone call, she had told me about all of the other women he had cheated on me with, all of the other women he would take on vacations, all of the other women that he would have over to his home while he was like allegedly doing nothing. That's what he had told me. And because I'm busy, I have grad school, I have classes, I have my internships, I'm not going to hang out with you 24/7. Like, I have stuff to do, like, you know what I mean? But so she told me about all of this. She had told me about all of the random women that he meets in cities while on vacation by himself. Told me about all of the girls that he just brings over. Told me all the girls he brings on dates. Told me about the girl that, because she doesn't drink, well, she drinks but not like champagne. Told me about the girl that drank all my champagne. And he would actually tell her about all, like, the audacity. He would actually tell her about all of these other women that he was cheating on me with. But he would tell her that it was okay because we were gonna break up soon. We didn't break up for months, like, but that was his logic. Like, he would just convince her that he was allowed to do this and it was totally acceptable because we were gonna break up anyways. And he never did. And actually, every time I broke up with him, up until the final one, the final breakup, up until I broke up with him, he would beg for me back. So even if we had broken up for like an hour, he would be like, "No, please, please, like, you know, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Like, we have to get back together. We're perfect for each other. Think of all the memories." And so then I would be like an idiot and agree, like, I don't know, like, whatever. But anyways, so he, so that just makes no sense to me because even when he had the chance to fool around when I broke up with him, so he should have been happy, but then he just wanted to be back together. Actually, at one point where it got to the point where I was so fed up of being cheated on, I offered, why don't we be in an open relationship? Because then you can be happy doing whoever you want to do, and then I can be happy knowing that it's an okay situation. Like, if we're in an open relationship, we're both seeing other people, so I won't be like mad about it. But he said no. He said that was not okay, not something he ever wanted to be in. He just wanted to be in a loyal, committed relationship to ensure that I was with no other man, but he was allowed to be with whatever woman he wanted to be with. So that's tea. And don't ever be with someone like that, man or woman. Like, no way. But oof, yeah, I don't know. That's just some blatant disrespect. I remember he blatantly some girl texted him like, "Daddy," and then he was like, he replied in front of my face, "Mommy," and I got mad and I was like, "Why are you flirting with this girl?" And he was like, "It's not flirting, it's okay." And I was like, "That's flirting." And she replied back that she was horny. So And he tells me to this day that it was a joke. It was not a joke. It's actually funny to me that a man will be like best friends with like tons of women that he has dated and done stuff with. And then he thinks that's okay, but when I simply like make a TikTok with a guy, it's like the end of the world. So, and then if I have a problem with it, apparently it's like, you know, my opinion is invalid. So, but basically, a lot of women that I had later found out were his like best friends, I didn't even know existed. I knew about like 2 or 3 of those girls. So I don't know how I prevented him from being friends with these women that he dated when I didn't even know most of them existed, which is pretty funny in my opinion. But, you know, he had told me on numerous occasions that all of my friends are scum. My friends are good people, and my friends do not like him. My family does not like him. They know how he was treating me, and for months was trying to convince me to leave him and be done. And, you know, like I said, you're blind in a relationship sometimes, and everybody else can see it except for you. He told me my friends were scum because he knew that I told my friends everything that he did to me. He didn't like when I told my family and other people about what was going on because he said that that was private information that we should not be sharing with other people. In reality, it was more than likely because he did not want me to like have an epiphany that this was not okay. So it's gotten long already and I'm trying to keep it short, but I just think the takeaway from this experience and what people should learn from is that if there's any of those red flags in relationships like cheating and stuff like that, you just need to back off and step away. A person who loves you will not cheat on you. A person who loves you will not lie to your face, belittle you, and honestly just put you down every single day and continue, you know, to cheat on you after they know that you don't like that. So, and also when you get cheated on, you don't need to act like Mary Poppins and act like everything is okay. You don't need to be, you know, just this joyful, happy person. You are allowed to be upset, you are allowed to be emotional, and you are allowed to be angry. And when I'm upset and emotional, I act out of character and I do and say things that is not in my character. But honestly, that's okay. It's not okay to act out of character, but it is okay to be upset. It is okay that you let a person do you wrong for months and you're allowed to be angry. It's normal. What are you gonna do? Like be happy? Like, oh my God, I am thrilled that this happened to me. I was disrespected, I was lied to, I was gaslit, I was manipulated, I was cheated on for months. And honestly, I don't know why the world thinks I need to be okay with that. And I don't know why the world thinks that I need to forgive him for cheating on me. I don't need to forgive him. And honestly, I have moved on. I don't care. Like, yes, I acted crazy. Yes, I was out of character. Yes, I shouldn't have behaved in that way. And I let my emotions get the best of me. But this went on for months. At this point, I was done, I was fed up and just over it. And now I don't even care anymore. Like, I have learned from my mistakes. I have learned when a person literally makes me feel crazy. I put all of that behind me. I am much happier now. I have genuine smiles and I feel like I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see it. My friends and family can see it. And I am in a much better place emotionally now than before. A lot of people might not think that just because of everything that has been going on with social media, but just being out of a horrible situation has made my life so much more enjoyable. And, you know, anything anyone says about me in videos and comments and DMs, I'm not taking it personally because I am free. So I apologize if this is a long video, but I hope you watched it through its entirety and I hope you can learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them in the future, whether it be with your relationships, with your friendships, or with your family. And I'm still learning. I've learned from my previous mistakes and I am still learning. I am sure in my next relationship, you know, things like I'm going to allow myself to be treated in ways that I shouldn't. I'm sure I'm going to treat them in ways that I shouldn't, but I'm still young and I'm still learning, and it takes time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned from it. I hope you at least got a takeaway from it. And yeah, from now on forward, there will be more happy and light, fun-hearted videos. So be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel for better content than this, and I'll see you next time.